Live from the Now Avenue, my name is Sharon Chondrusha Nakakone Elizabeth on Sign Language. Thank you so much for keeping it UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. Let's take a look at our top stories. Random number identification system for PLE. Government gives Alur Kingdom a modern palace. Omeme disconnects Kampala power thieves. And in more stories, UK MPs pass amendment delaying Brexit. In our top stories of the day, the Minister for Northern Uganda, Grace Freedom Kwichini, urges the youth in Alur Kingdom to engage in poverty eradication related projects. She says if the youth get into such income-generating projects, they'll be able to get income for themselves, but for the prosperity of their Alur Kingdom. She made remarks at the Alur Kingdom's palace in Zombo district. Take a look.
In the hills of Atiak Winam lies an old structure that housed the over 10 kings of Alur people in the West Nile sub-region of Zombo district. The building was constructed in 1940s with the support of the then governor of Uganda, Sir Andrew Cohen.
All the Alur chiefs and small chiefs all came from this land. This site where we are was the home of the kings. Many kings, now 33, who were here, all died and buried around here.
A walk around the palace shows a dilapidated structure that is housing a royal regalia ranging from drums, chairs, spears and arrows. This is what the kingdom called a palace, but due to the dilapidated structures, operations of the kingdom were temporarily disrupted. It's for this reason that government decided to build a modern palace for Alur Kingdom. During the handover ceremony, the Minister for Northern Uganda, Grace Kwichini, said government is committed to the betterment of the kingdom.
The government has constructed houses for Alur Acholi chiefs. The government is going to construct a complex for the Langu chiefs. The government has also promised houses for Alur chiefs, 32 of them. This is for the king. And there was a request also to the president to build a complex, a palace, which can host meetings, which can host different events.
The 300 million palace was constructed by the Office of the Prime Minister under the Post-War Recovery and Presidential Pledges Program.
So we are here to hand over this house to the king, but we are also here to achieve, to celebrate the achievement made. It is not easy to bring such construction home. There are always many challenges in construction, but this has been done in record time and it is a good house.
The king of Alur, Philip Olaker Rauni, commended government for their efforts in making his kingdom great again.
Honorable Termot Moa, co-appreciation Moa, the bank government for Uganda, to His Excellency President me Uganda.
The Alur welcomed the new developments within the palace, saying it is going to make the kingdom's services better.
It's historic because behind it there you see was another palace. It's now dilapidated. We were complaining a lot that our king cannot live in this kind of setting. And then of course we are aware that our king at the moment is living in this house behind me. It's not befitting of a king. Now with this one, we think there are a lot of things going to happen. We can now have chiefs meeting in this place comfortably. We can now have cabinet.
When the building was not there, the king couldn't settle here easily because he had to look for a place where to stay. Now that the king is at home, all the departments within the kingdom will fully be functional.
much as there is a boost of the palace by government, but the kingdom's needs seems to be endless. A reason the Minister for Northern Uganda wants the youth to work hard and support the kingdom. For UBC TV News, I am Philip Aguta.
Thank you so much, Philip Aguta, for that wonderful story and an update on Alur Kingdom, and congratulations. Moving on from that, Uganda National Examinations Board, UNEB, is introducing the use of random numbers instead of index numbers at this year's primary leaving examinations. According to the head of Primary Leaving Examinations Department at UNEB, this computerized number will be selected at a random place from the very district and school and subject in a move aimed at curbing examination malpractices. Take a look.
In a bid to minimize examination malpractice, Uganda National Examination Board introduced the use of random number identification system for UCE and Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education candidates, replacing the use of Education Management Information System. Now the same technique is to be applied to this year's Primary 7 final examinations, as the in charge of Primary Leaving Examinations at UNEB Secretariat asserts.
Time around, UNEB has changed. We shall have numbers generated by our computer department, and they're going to be given to each school. Each school will have its own number, and they are the ones that the candidates will use, and they add their personal numbers to form an index number for the candidates. We have two types of random numbers. We shall have a district identification number, because initially candidates will write the district name. This time round, we don't want to see the district name. We want to see a random number which has been generated by UNEB and given to each school and each district.
This year, pupils are set to write their peer exams, but in a new guideline dubbed Regulations on the Conduct and Supervision of Peer 2019, they will be availed with a random number for each paper set by a candidate.
So when candidates come to sit their papers, each subject will have a different random number. When they come for mathematics, they will be given a generated random number which they are going to write on the mathematics paper. That will happen for SST. When SST begins, the other number will be done away with, and then they write a new one which will be again given by UNEB. When the following day, when we begin mathematics, science, the same thing will happen. Science will have a different random number generated by UNEB and given to candidates of each school. Each school will have its own random number.
The Uganda National Examination Board is impressed by this code performance at Senior 4 and Senior 6, thus going for it at Primary 7. These numbers will be changed for every session with the view of making it difficult for any examiner to identify which school they are assessing.
We have seen it very important to try and level the ground. Maybe if I may tell you, they are not new. Random numbers are not new in UNEB. They have been common in UCE and the USE. They started about 5 years ago. In the primary, we took time because they are a bit delicate. We feared that they might cause a mix. But after settling with UCE and USE, we believe the time now is right for primary to also begin.
By this, UNEB seeks to make difficult for any school or individuals engaging in examination malpractices. I'm Robert Nyango for UBC News, Kampala.
Greater Masaka residents have been tipped on the rampant cases of child sacrifice, which seem to be on the rise, especially in the districts of Rakai and Chotera. While meeting residents at Side-by-Side Primary School in Rakai District, Kevin Brown from America noted that fighting against this vice should be everyone's responsibility.
Child sacrifice and murder have often been reported in Greater Masaka, Rakai, Chotera and Sembabuli at the hotspots, as residents allege that over 4 cases of child sacrifice are on average reported every 3 months. In a meeting attended by residents, local leaders and religious leaders at Side-by-Side Primary School in Rakai District, it was noted that the influx of traditional healers from neighboring countries have aided child abductions and murders in the area.
And it was originally called child sacrifice, but we know that it's not sacrifice, it's murder. This is cold-blooded murder.
Sometimes we don't only have child sacrifice, but we do have child murder as a gain, because people sometimes they confiscate people and they start calling their relatives that I have your child. If you give me such and such an amount, I'm going to release your child.
This was during a meeting held under the theme, How to Stop Child Murder and Injustice. Emphasis was placed on creating awareness, identifying and locating places of child sacrifice and recovering victims.
The target we have is to eliminate child murder, which is so rampant in this greater massacre, and even in other parts of the country.
What's happening with witch doctors and murdering children is totally wrong. So we're equipping them both through prayer and by creating awareness and by creating education for the children and for the parents and the guardians of the children, how to not become a victim.
Amidst this intervention, residents also cited out low levels of education, poverty and domestic violence in the area as key drivers of child murder, thus calling for a comprehensive approach.
We need to tackle on witchcraft, because that's the source of child murder. Another thing is to teach the communities to be aware of child murder.
Kevin Brown, an American human rights activist who has pitched camp in Greater Massacre region, now wants government and local leaders to be champions of fighting against child sacrifice and murder.
This is not something we can do on our own, hence the name of our ministry is Side by Side. It's our desire to work with government officials, law enforcement, criminal justice system, the chiefs and the leadership in the villages, everyone. We call it a wraparound service. We want to work with everyone that's involved so that we can eliminate these child murders.
This meeting resolved to carry out community outreaches, close supervisions, school sensitizations, and seek for divine interventions. I'm Robert Onyango for UBC News, Rakai.
Forest encroachment, mainly for wood fuels, subsistence agriculture and sand mining, is said to be the main driver for the fast declining vegetation cover in the country. According to the latest State of the Environment report, the country's vegetation cover continues to decline. We have a detailed report on this very story.
The speed at which Uganda continues to lose her forest cover is alarming. Landless peasant farmers invade the tropical high forests, cut them down to pave way for crop farming and sand mining. What remains to be seen are tree stumps standing in maize gardens, compromising the ecological functioning of these resources. One such a forest is Rumunda Central Forest Reserve in Mpigi District, Central Uganda. The National Forestry Authority is grappling with the problem, but with little success.
You can plant mosisi. It's okay because these are deep fertile soils which do well in support of such plantation of mosisi and terminalia.
But in some places we see eucalyptus.
Yes, eucalyptus is planted because of its very many advantages. One of them, it matures very fast, and people would like to have the benefit very quickly as they plant, so they reap. That's why many of the people opt for eucalyptus, even though the site matching recommendations are not in favor of the plantation of eucalyptus.
In Kalangaro, Central Forest Reserve near Mabamba, also in Mpigi District, the situation is worse. Sand miners have uprooted several hectares of forest to a shadow of her former self.
This is Mabamba Forest. In the 20 years, it was really a forest, but it was degraded by farmers and charcoal burners and sand miners.
And unless something is quickly done, Uganda's microclimate could soon stop to support agriculture. For UBC News, this is Pathias Karekona reporting from Kalangaro.
Thank you for that story. Rotarians in Uganda are looking for $4 million to set up a state-of-the-art training center that will equip the youth in vocational skills in Uganda. Now, according to Tina Nachibuka, the president of Rotary Club of Kampala North, the center, to named Sam Owori Rotary Vijana Power Center, is expected to be the best in Africa, sitting on 40 acres of land already secured in Busunju along Mitena Road. We caught up with Miss Tina and the annual music and dance competition held at the Law Development Center in Kampala as part of the activities to raise funds to fast-track the project.
It is about, our theme today is empower the youth, secure the future. Why we are doing this is because of the big challenge that we are seeing in our society about youth unemployment. So we have come together as Rotary clubs. The Rotary Club of Kampala North is organizing the event, but all Rotary clubs in Uganda and Rotaract clubs have come together to help us achieve this theme. We have bought land in Busunju, 40 acres, where we want to build a skilling center, a state-of-the-art skilling center that is going to empower youth with all the vocational skills that they can get. This year we are starting with the first one that is going to skill for construction and water. So this is why we are here, to make sure that everyone gets gainable employment so that they can go back and do something for their own.
How far is the project?
The total budget for the project is $14 million. We have come a long way, but at the moment we've not even yet raised $1 million. We are working together in these small fundraisers that we do. If we get 100 million today, we shall be happy. So because our target this year is to start a lab. So with the other monies and our funders and our friends that have been working with us, if we collect more, we are ready to start. And we are calling upon other people to come and join us. Yes.
Now, Bishop Stewart University BSU Kakoba Mbarara has conducted its 15th RG graduation ceremony with 1,604 students, of whom 828 males and 776 females were awarded certificates, diplomas, degrees and masters in different disciplines. The function was presided over by the Ambassador of Netherlands to Uganda, Henk Jan Baker, at Riverside Graduation Grounds in Kakoba Division, Bara Municipality, Bara District. Henk, in his address, challenged institutions of higher learning to always focus on courses aimed at skilling the students so that after their studies, they become job creators and provide opportunities of employing others. The Chancellor, Bishop Stewart University, Right Reverend Dr. Fred Sheldon Mwesigwa, urged the graduates to manage their expectations so as to succeed in life. Professor Mauda Kamatenisi Mjisha, the Vice Chancellor, Bishop Stewart University, called upon the graduates to use the knowledge acquired to shape the future of the country.
Buildings, but this university is a church founded, not for profit. We don't get money from there and we divide it among the shareholders. No, it doesn't happen. Discipline. That's the problem with many institutions, and we thank you for being well behaved. We are
Agribusiness Incubation Hub. By next year, we shall have our products registered with Uganda Bureau standards. We shall be selling them, they are going to be in the markets. With the support from Netherlands, we cannot take it like they have so far trained 16 business incubators who are going to also champion training our students in entrepreneurship skills.
So we will make sure our coffee farmers produce the best quality that can compete other coffee producing countries in the rest of the world. And what am I meaning? I mean we have to produce good coffee, plant very well, give the plant all the requirements, the water for irrigation. We look at harvesting only the red cherries, drying them on tarpaulins, make sure that the coffee is stored in a good stores.
Choose the projects of their interest. And we have good...
we have a wide range of products of which we believe by next year they would have been registered by UNBS and such products. First of all, we have lemon aftershave, lemon, which I mean a product which is organic, and it is under one of our students, of which we believe next year it will be on the market.
Mommy, you can't touch it. You can't touch it. Daddy, what's wrong?
I've had a long day, Angel, and I have a bad headache.
Oh, I'll give you something that will make you feel better if you promise to play with us.
Headache? Toothache. Unapoumwa, unataka kitulizo kwa haraka gani? Mara moja. Pain and fever reliever. A quality product from Beta Healthcare contains paracetamol, caffeine and aspirin. Beta Healthcare. Caring for all. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998 with a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda. We created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
The two-day symposium will look at the latest intellectual property rights within the Internet of Things, uncovering the impact it has on innovation and development. Discussants will cover areas in pharmaceutical, big data, telecoms, ISPs, banking and insurance, government, energy and automotive. The main purpose of the conference is to examine the best ways in which to use knowledge and innovation to boost youth employment and foster the adoption of new technologies under the theme Innovation and the Internet of Things. Book now online at www.symposium.iptech.com. Registration for local delegates is $150 and $200 for international delegates. Happening on Thursday 24th to Friday 25th October 2019 at Speak Resort and Conference Center, Kampala. For further inquiries, contact Juliet on 0712 139 916.
Does heartburn stop you from eating the things you love? Eating too fast, alcohol or spicy food can trigger acidity, heartburn, indigestion or flatulence. Your best bet is Better Cool. Better Cool works fast to relieve acidity, heartburn and indigestion. Trust Better Cool. Enjoy life.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
You're still watching UBC News Tonight. In more stories, over 60% of girls in Kasese district are being involved in sexual harassment, leading them to get out of schools. Now, the communication was sounded by the coordinator for Network for Girls and Civic Empowerment in Kasese district. During the International Day for Girl Child, we went ahead. The celebrations held at Mayor's Gardens in Kasese town.
That one who is below the age of 18. These traditional norms and beliefs that once a child goes into menstruation, that child is ready for marriage, that a child is a source of wealth, that a child has no protection in their home, but the protection is where she is married. Please let the protection of where you are married start from where you are born. We would like to appeal to the parents also to give girl-child property where and when necessary. For example, I want to bring out a category of a girl who may not be married. Okay?
Several houses in Katanga, Wandege and Makerich-Koni, a Kampala suburb, illegally connected Umeme have been disconnected. Now, this follows a joint operation by Umeme Limited and Uganda police that netted close to 40 culprits. Take a look.
Umeme Uganda Limited has disconnected a number of homes that had illegally hooked themselves onto the national grid. Umeme staff, led by John Baptist Nwamanya, carried out the operation in Wandege, Katanga and Makerere-Kikoni, a Kampala suburb, and disconnected several houses that had illegally connected themselves.
The operation basically is to unearth those that have been stealing power, but also the second objective of the operation is to ensure that networks that we have that are illegal are disconnected from our service, such that our customers are safe.
The operation was carried out jointly with Uganda Police. 8 different groups participated in the exercise aimed at curbing rampant power theft, mainly in some areas where electrocution is also rampant.
We have been able to disconnect over 500 houses that have been consuming power illegally. We have made over 40 arrests and have unearthed several kilometers of underground networks that were illegally connected to the network.
40 suspects were arrested and taken to Wandege police station. The groups traversed the areas checking on the status of the installation.
You deal with Uganda, let Uganda know the right thing. Let all Ugandans know the right thing. Not just the person.
According to the Umeme Metering Service Manager, Kampala East and North East, Engineer John Nwamanya, up to 26% of the power supplied in the area is illegally connected.
At 25.7%, by the time at the end of September, that had come down to 19.8%. So that shows you that actually what has been lost was due to power theft.
According to Nwamanya, Umeme is still facing challenges of imposters who execute connections countrywide, claiming to be their staff.
To urge the public to ensure that they desist from the issue of power theft, to say no to impersonators, the Kamufus that come and confuse them that they're going to get for them power without going through the proper channel.
He, however, wants the public to be keen about such people by checking their identification cards. He said in reply to some of the residents who claimed that it is Umeme staff that carried out the connections. Joseph Buule, UBC, Kampala.
Boris Johnson has said he will press on undaunted with his Brexit strategy, despite MPs backing the principle of a further delay to the process. Now the PM vowed to introduce legislation needed to implement his excellent argument in Parliament next week. But he will have to ask the EU for an extension beyond 31st October after MPs backed a motion designed to rule out a non-deal exit by 322 votes to 306. The EU said it was up to the UK to inform it of the next steps. Ministers have signalled a vote on the PM's revised Brexit agreement could now take place on Monday, depending on what the Speaker decides. During the first Saturday parliamentary sitting for 37 years, MPs delivered a blow to the PM's Brexit strategy. They backed a motion tabled by independent MP Sir Oliver Lerton, which withholds approval for Boris Johnson's Brexit deal until legislation implementing it has been passed. Singapore is the gateway to Asia's bustling technology and financial scene and home to a diverse and ambitious entrepreneurial community. The island city-state that occupies a strategic point in the straits between India and Hong Kong, a fusion of the rich diversity of cultures from all across Asia. It captures the essence of Asia in terms of trade and culture, while at the same time standing as a bastion to the high-tech future. Take a look.
Southeast Asia is the perfect playground for the e-scooter sharing business, thanks to the region's temperate climate, congested cities, and its emergent middle class. However, some argue that e-scooters are just a fad and not as environmentally friendly and sustainable as they claim to be.
Electric scooters are good in the sense that they have less emission of carbon dioxide. But on the other hand, there are much materials that need to be used, and we need to actually have good methods for disposal of such scooters.
According to market research firm Mobility Foresights, Asia's e-scooter market generates less than $10 million in annual revenue. That's nothing compared to $315 million in the US and $251 in Europe. The undersaturated market has proven tempting to both local and international players, with many viewing Singapore as a gateway to Southeast Asia. To date, Singapore's Land Transport Authority has received 14 applications from e-scooter sharing companies wanting to launch in Singapore. As of now, the LTA has approved 0, citing safety concerns as a reason for requiring more time to review e-scooter sharing licenses. The e-scooter sharing companies currently operating in the city-state use an arrangement with private developers, and all trips taken by riders must start and end on private land rather than on public property. Aaron Leong, who founded e-scooter rental and tour company CityScoot, believes that it is irresponsible to allow just anyone to pick up an e-scooter without first learning the rules.
I think the LTA has to put in more restriction on who's going to use these scooters on the street, because you don't want a 5-6 years old to just use it. You don't want to have a tourist who doesn't know about the rules.
The penultimate round in the National Rally Championship is turning into an agony and ecstasy scenario of sorts, with many drivers already out of the 303-kilometer Hoima Rally. By close of day one, notable names that will not witness day two include Christakis Fitidis and Ambrose Biona. Our reporter John Barnes sent him is in Hoima and better explains what has transpired today and follows on day two on Sunday.
Done with the first day of the 2019 Kabalega Rally here in Hoima District. It's been fun-filled and eventful. For the drivers, of course, if you miss out on day two, it's bizarre. For the fans, they enjoy everything that makes a driver eject the race, and that was the fact in the morning when the first two sections, Ambrose Biona, Ponson Wakataka, Christakis Fitidis, Samuel Watendwa, and Timothy Gawaya were victims then. In the afternoon, Seko, Adam Rauf, all other drivers sailed through and will be a part of the final day of the race tomorrow when the cars go for 6 sections. They'll repeat the 2 we did today and go to areas like Bugambeti, they'll go to Kitoba, they'll go to Musajamapuru and all others to complete the 303 kilometers, 173 of which are competitive for this Kabalega, the penultimate of the National World Championship, and is all to play for. Simnasa, the current leader, is still in, but many questions asked of him by Arthur Bleak, as witnessed in the run they had at the super special stage here at Kontik Hotel in Hoima district.
That brings us to the end of our news bulletin at 10 p.m. Thank you so much for watching. Before we sign out, we'll take one final look at the headlines and take a look at the weather forecast as well. Random number identification system for PLE. Government gives Alur Kingdom a modern palace. UNEMA disconnects Kampala power thieves. And lastly, in our news, UK MPs pass amendment delaying Brexit. My name is Sharon Chomjisha with Nakon Elizabeth on Time Language. From the team and I, have a lovely night, and we leave you with the weather forecast by Maureen.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the Weather Center. My name is Marlon Kenyana and the weather report is brought to you by Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Well, we still have rainfall across much of the country, and we've seen some heavy showers across parts of western Uganda, the eastern sector, as well as the Lake Victoria Basin. And one thing for sure is that we still expect a similar condition in the next couple of days. We could see some of these heavy rains again. There is likelihood of flash flooding that could also result from these rains. Now, look at our 24-hour report, where according to the available data, Entebbe reported the highest amount of rainfall, that was 9 millimeters. We also had 2.2 across Kampala. Now, looking at our satellite images today, we see that we still have a rain belt that is widely spread across our region, and also there is a storm system that is developing over Lake Victoria. Now, that is spreading inwards, bringing us some rains. Those could be seen even later tonight and also into tomorrow. Now, let's take a look at Sunday's weather forecast. Well, in the morning, we'll start off with light rains. Those will be across the Lake Victoria Basin, the western stretch, as well as parts of northeastern Uganda, and elsewhere we shall be seeing intervals of sunny and cloudy conditions. Now, later on in the afternoon is when we expect much more of these rains. We shall see some heavy showers. Those will be across the northwestern parts of northern Uganda all the way up to eastern Uganda. Now we look at our maximums. We shall see a daytime high of 25. That will be across Kampala, a little bit lower than what we were dealing with today. We'll also be seeing a maximum of 27 across Dira, and very cold weather across Kabale Highlands. Temperatures will go up to 21 degrees centigrade. Look at some of the world cities. We're forecasting sunny conditions for Dubai at a daytime high of 36. Very hot weather over there. Also likely to have rainy conditions across a chilly New York. Temperatures will go up to 16 degrees centigrade. And with that, we wrap up today's weather report. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a blessed day tomorrow.
Inspirational moment with Pastor Jackson Senyonga of Christian Life Church, Kampala.
Saving at least 8 to 10% of your income and put it on savings. If your wife or husband gets to know that in a week we don't have to take meat 5 times, that partner will be able to wait because she's aware of the big things that we're trying to save for. Save some money that will educate your children. You know how you don't wait until university time. You have an opportunity of starting to save little by little, little by little by little. By the time they get to university, you have money to pay for the first or second semester.